y'all don't be knowing the half. When I say stuff like this, y'all get real offended. But this is nothing but cold, hard facts that your mammy didn't teach you.
All right, what the fuck is up? What the motherfucking business is? Cold Hard Facts Podcast, episode 188. I am DNA, the only one, the one and only, of course. Joined here back with one out of three of my other co-hosts. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's Mr. Silkyy Johnson back again after niggas tried to not do the show without us last week. You know what I'm saying?
Not intentionally. It wasn't intentional.
So I'm back. Martin getting bent over somewhere. He's not here. And Kuda Buggin, he having some issues right now. I'm not gonna bust him out.
Yeah, yeah.
Martin's somewhat being gay, so that's why.
But we got a little and a lot to talk about at the same time. If I don't know if you planning on getting your tickets, your 1 day ticket, your 4 day ticket, whatever, how many days you going to Lala?
Yeah, no, I'm only trying to go under that 1 day because I looked at the Lala lineup and I'm only interested in going on that day because Cole's gonna be there, Larry Jones is gonna be there. Who else? I know a few. I think Big Sean is there that day as well. So that was already enough for me to want to go that day. Like none of the other days really clicked for me. So.
Now my question, and you can also, I will also answer my own question: is that enough to only go to that and not go to see Kendrick?
No.
Okay.
Because in my personal opinion, I've never seen Big Sean perform. Anytime that Big Sean ever been on a tour, somehow, I've been on social media for years, and somehow every time Big Sean goes on tour, I never know about it.
Right.
So, me personally, I'm not saying you didn't, but
right, yeah.
I never knew about it. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think I knew.
There's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Larry June, being that I just got on him last year, pretty much. Outside of the couple songs that I heard in 2020, being that I just got on him for real last year. Of course, I missed him when he came here last summer. So just for him to come back and do Lala is like enough for me to go see him, especially since he's probably the one artist that I've listened to the most this year.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, and then Cole, that's just to make up for the fact that I didn't, even though I did see bits and, clips of him when he was at the United Center last October. And I watched in his entire Dreamville Fest performance. I've only seen him live once, and that was almost 4 years ago. So,
right.
That's like, I need to go see him again.
Right. Yeah. I pretty much, gotta see.
And then Kendrick, I'm sorry, but then Kendrick is like, I've been a fan of Kendrick Lamar since 2010, and I've never, just like Drake, I've never seen him in concert before.
Right.
So it's like, oh man, like, this probably might be my last opportunity for God knows how long.
Right.
So.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty much the same boat. Sort of not completely. That would not be. I gotta see. I don't have to see Cole now. I don't have to see Cole because
I have to see them.
I would like to. I would love to see Big Sean though, because every time. Now I did probably. I just wasn't going to concerts back then. He went like during the I Decided album. He went on tour. But yeah, like I guess I just wasn't going to concerts then. I ain't started to really go to concerts for real until like 2018. So that was like, basically 4 years ago. And after that, but no, like seeing seeing just seeing Cole and Big Sean, yeah, that's not enough. I gotta see Kendrick too because I never seen Kendrick and I never seen Drake either. So I don't know what ticket to get first. That's the big thing.
Yeah,
I don't
because I'm debating on that as well.
but I know
like if I could miss an event, if I could miss one of the two, it would be Lala. Because even though I've never seen Big Sean, I've never seen Larry Jones, and I have seen Cole, my conscience probably won't let me live on correctly if I don't go to Kendrick's show.
right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know, especially with, the way that I think, but just all of the opinions that I hear about this album, which I'll get into a little later because I know the album been out for like almost a month now, but after having sat with it longer, I have more opinions on people's opinions of the album. But I'm going to save that for later. But, listening to it, the more I listen to it, I find something new to love about it. So I'm like, damn, I really got to go to the show. Even if he only performs some of the songs and not all of the songs from the album, I'll at least be like, damn, I saw him finally.
Right.
Because the thing that really made me want to see him is not because I've loved his music for so long or anything like that. The thing that made me want to go see him live was I watched somebody recorded the majority of his Day in Vegas performance last year, and I watched it. And that's the one, that's the one where he performed songs from every album.
Right.
And that shit was amazing, dude. Like, he would start off each section with like a paragraph of what this album meant to him when he was writing it, and then he would perform some songs off of it, and then go to the next one. I think the album he spent the most time on was either Section 80 or Good Kid, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Because To Pimp a Butterfly, he didn't skim over it, but he performed all the note songs like King Kunta. I think he did These Walls. I know he did King Kunta. I know he did All Right, and I know he did The Blacker the Berry. But I'm still kind of drawing a blank on the other songs that filled those gaps. But with Damn, he didn't really do too much.
Okay.
I think he did DNA. I think he did Humble. And I think he did Loyalty. And I think he did one more. But I don't remember which one. I think he just did the hits from that album.
Right.
So that alone made me want to go see him.
Sure.
And it was really the Section 80 part that made me want to go see him. Because I'm like, oh, shit, that nigga did High Power. That nigga did ADHD. He did Hold Up. He did... I think he do... No, he didn't do Ronald Reagan. What's that song he did? He did another song. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that made me want to go see him.
Yeah, I think it's more imperative that I go see Kendrick. And then I gotta get some type of merch also, because
I'm a little impartial to merch just because of my last experience with a merch line. But that was my fault because I knew that if I waited until the end of the show, that I'd have been in there for the longest time and I never would have got nothing good. So I just went before Cole performed, but I ended up missing out on open acts, which I don't regret. But I'm just saying, I was in that merch line for a good minute.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit, impartial to merch for this type of event because I don't know what the merch is gonna look like.
Right.
For two, I don't know how long it's gonna take because there's gonna be a lot of people at the show. That merch line is gonna be long as fuck.
Right.
It's you literally have to get there when the door is open just to get something and sit comfortably, which is probably, if we end up going where we're probably gonna have to do.
Right.
Just go right when the door is open. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just be in that bitch.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know for sure I'm gonna definitely go, and I know for sure now that I'm thinking about it because I get my next paycheck is coming up soon. So I'm going to go ahead and skip out on Lala, even though I don't want to. I'm going to go ahead and skip out on Lala and just go straight for Kendrick. And yeah, that's about it. Because I want 100.
I'm still deciding on Lala because I really want to see that, honestly. So
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm going to get another opportunity to do that. I keep checking his. I know he's on tour overseas right now. I keep checking his Instagram, hoping that he just goes on tour in America again for no reason.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mainly want to skip out on Lala and just straight up go for Kendrick is because I want 100 section ticket, and the 100 section ticket is out of this world expensive. It should not be that expensive, but it is that expensive because it's Kendrick Lamar. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go for it because I damn near spent 200 on seeing Cole. So, and that was a floor seat.
I don't remember how much I spent.
I spent like damn near 200 on seeing Cole. So,
I gotta think about that. I think I ain't spend that much because of where I sat it, but because I sat in, you remember where I sat it.
Yeah. Up high. Nosebleed.
I want to say I spent like 80, 90. I want to say I either spent $80 or $90, I think.
Right.
To see Cole.
Yeah.
But if I count what I spent on merch, I probably spent close to 200.
So you basically spent a floor seat on Cole, basically. That's a floor seat. Yeah, I almost spent.
It's funny, and it's still fucked up to me because I could have probably easily found a way to sneak into the front because that's where my people was at.
Right.
Like, it's a bitch.
Right, yeah, you probably could have.
I had no idea they were sitting up there until we got back to the hotel that night. I'm like, you niggas sat in the front, bro. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, man.
Ass niggas.
Yeah, that's definitely spent. I spent damn near 200. It was like 185 or something like that. So since we both purchased this Mr. Morale and Big Steppers, is it weird? I don't know if it's weird to me that it's not actually to this.
It's not to me.
But I know why. I know why it's like that. Yeah, I know why. But it's still kind of weird. But I know why because it's like I guess you could say for streaming's sake, it's to this, but not physically. I guess you could say.
So that's true. But the way I look at it is kind of like this: if you know anything about burning CDs from back in the day. You know that a CD only holds a certain time limit of songs before you can't put shit else on there.
Right.
I don't think that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, I don't think that's changed in the years the CD has been like a thing. Like I don't think that's changed. So if I'm not mistaken, you only get about 90 minutes worth of like songs to put on the CD.
Right.
That album is an hour 13.
Right.
It's just 20-something minutes shy of not even 20. It's like 18 minutes shy of becoming the true double disc album. So
yes, 18 songs, an hour and 13 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I think it's just one disc. Because I thought it was gonna be two. And then I opened it. I'm like, oh, it's only one. And that's like, maybe that's because you only get like 90 minutes out of a CD. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if you look at, let's talk about the last rapper double album that came out, which was like actual double album. Let's look at what's the damn Drake album? Scorpion. Let's look at Scorpion, right? So when Scorpion dropped, it was advertised as a double album. And then when I bought the CD, it's two CDs in there. But that's because
can I see that by the way, or do you have it like?
Yeah, I got it, and that's also weird to me because that album is literally bookmarked at an hour 30. You know what I'm saying? So let me go grab that for you so I can show you that.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, this. It makes sense that he did it that way. I also kind of would like I don't know if, like, I don't know if we thinking the same thing. I kind of actually liked it to be double disc because
I don't think it bothers me that much. I get why, but it don't bother. Okay, so look, I'm gonna show you how this looks. So I know the people who's listening can't see this.
Yeah, we'll show you in the future.
All right, so here's
or if you got the double disc already.
Here's the album with Drake's face on, and then you open it, and you have this, which is side A side to the A.
Right. Yeah.
And then if you swing it open, there's the B side right here.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? So this is a real double disc.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no... Like, Scorpion is a true double disc album. Now, I think, personally, that if he would have put... Because I don't know how long Certified Lover Boy is, but I feel like if he would have put that out on a CD, he probably won't, because it would have been out by now.
Right.
But that album is an hour 26. Now, he could have put that on a single disc, and he would have probably gotten away with it, or he could have put it on the double.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Honestly, it's not, like I said, honestly, to me personally, it's not that big of a deal that the album itself, while being advertised as a double album, when you actually receive the physical CD version, it's not a double album. Right. Maybe in the future when he releases the vinyl, because I know he's going to release one. He has to. It'll be a double LP. Right. But for right now, I'm just like, it's not that big of a deal to me. But for streaming purposes, I think it's just advertised as a double album.
Right. Yeah. Because, 9 songs. Y'all say it's an album, 7 songs an album. Hey, my mind is just stuck in the before streaming era. That's all it is. I'm okay with that. And I'm fine with that. Because at this point, like I was talking to my niece today. I know this shit is like irrelevant, but not is also relevant. We was talking about how nobody puts time into an album anymore. Nobody actually put time into making an album, a full body of work. And what we mean by that is like, it's like now most songs are a minute and a half, maybe 2.5. At the most I've seen is probably 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's the longest song I've seen that has possibly 2 verses, possibly 3. It's very rare that you hear a 3-verse song though.
These days.
Yeah, so now even during streaming, some songs are that long, and most albums has like maybe 16 songs, and some may get into the 20s now. Not all of them though. Like some of them gets up to like 15, 14, 13, 16. Yeah, like those numbers. But yeah, like and some artists don't even like, and Chris Brown is an album artist. He know how to make us a album quality. Album.
Make a body of work.
Yeah, a great body of work. He knows how to make that, and he adapted to it, but he's still a great singer at the end of the day. So he adapted to the streaming era, but he doesn't have to. at the like he just did because he can. But these other artists not really taking their time, and actually making an album, bro, like that.
I mean, maybe, you know what? To piggyback off that, maybe, I mean, this all goes back into that whole, conversation we had a few shows ago about times being different when it comes to music tastes and the attention span of the average music listener, right? So, put it this way. Any rapper you could think of that is popping right now. Not saying that other rappers ain't popping. I'm talking about like they got the game on lock. You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers you get on the radio all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You look at their bodies, or you look at the albums that they put out, and it's like to their core fans and to people who really fuck with them, these are incredible bodies of work, right? But a lot of people who say they know music don't really know music. I just want to put that on wax real quick. Like, a lot of people who say they know music don't know it for real. Because if they did, then you would know that these albums that these motherfuckers is coming out with, those songs may be great. When you look at the album as a whole, it's just okay. For example, Drake's last album. I sit and I tell myself, and I know for a fact in my mind that album is You know what I'm saying? But I can't sit here and I can't sit here and lie and say that I don't thoroughly enjoy the songs on that album. You might not like every song on there. You personally.
Right.
Me, I like the majority of the songs on there. They're good songs. Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
They're good songs. But when you put all of those songs together as a body of work, it's just, It's right. You know what I'm saying? Just like this here. Just like this here.
It's just like
the majority. Now, the difference between that album and this album is that the majority of the songs on that album is mid to decent to cold. Most of the songs on this thing are mixed bag, literally.
Right.
And there are, I want to say, 2 songs on here that I know for a fact that I don't like. But I will listen to one of them because one of them has gotten catchy to me. I'm not going to name it. But there is one song on this album that I genuinely do not like. I never not liked the Drake song until this album.
Mm.
So he's a prime example of someone who can make great, good songs. Put them together and call it an album. And you'd be like, bro, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what a lot of these rappers are doing. They putting a lot of decent songs on their albums.
Yeah.
The album themselves, for another example, I don't want to, because I know you niggas like to play with guns, and y'all niggas like to fight, but I gotta say it. For another example, look at Lil Durk last album. I listened to that album back to front to back for 2 times. And the biggest takeaway that I got from that album is that the Durk that I've been promised through the guest features, through the joint album with Lil Baby, through the guest features and the joint album with Lil Baby, Durk I was promised, I did not get on that album. I got glimpses of that Durk. Durk has this thing where he will go and he'll put out a whole bunch of songs about the same shit that he's been rapping about since he first started rapping. The shit that put him on. That's what you want from him. Now, a lot of people like the Durk that talks about his feelings and talks about, being in love and relationships and all this shit, right? A lot of people like that Durk, and there's nothing wrong with that Durk. But when to me, he hasn't found the perfect balance of that yet, which is why I don't like. I'm not saying I don't like that album, but which is why I don't like it as much as some other folks that I talk to, because right now, it's at least 3 people right now that'll tell you that 7220 is the best album that came out this year. And they're completely entitled to believe that. I see your face turning up at me, but just like I know, that they are perfectly entitled to believe that. But when I listen to it, I'm just like, the songs that I was, the type of songs that I was promised by this man, and the type of energy that I was promised by this man through his guest features and that joint album with Lil Baby last year, I didn't get that on this album. I literally got a mixture of old dirt versus love songs for the streets dirt. I'm not a fan of that dirt. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's like, all right, man, like
I feel you on that.
Like, especially with like his last few albums, like, all right. What's that one he came out with a couple years ago? That Just Cause Y'all Waited Too? That was solid. That was solid. I love that album. That's the shit. The Voice, I was disappointed by. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
The Voice, I was disappointed by. 7220. I like a lot of songs on it, but I was disappointed by it. The whole album is out.
Right.
That's the thing about these rappers that you motherfuckers love so much is that they can make great songs. But when you put them together, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
You know? And that also has a lot to do, like I was saying, about the attention span of the average listener. The streaming era has, I mean, let me not say that because there are a lot of rappers who have had consistent works put out every 2 years or every so often. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z. From 1996 to 2003, Jay-Z released the album every single year. A lot of people don't realize that because of the quality of those albums. But Jay-Z released the album every year from 1996 to 2003. All of those albums are great. Now, the people's ranking of those albums is always different. But all of those albums are great.
We haven't done that, have we?
What?
Rank his albums yet?
No.
Okay.
And then you look at somebody like, who was I just listening about recently? You look at somebody like Logic. Look at Logic, right?
I can see.
From 2010 to 2020. Yeah, 2020. Logic has released something every year. Has released something every year for 10 years straight. Whether it was a mixtape or an album, he had released something every year. And from 2011 to about 2015, maybe 2016, it was working for him. It was working for him because his mixtapes are, loved in the underground. Under Pressure is I can go so far as to call it, in my eyes, it's a great debut rap album. I was about to sit there and call it a classic, but that depends on who you talk to. The Incredible True Story is a great album, bar none. The first Bobby Tarantino is a quality mixtape. Everything after that is hit or miss.
Right.
Literally. Everybody had good songs on it, but the whole album as a whole was just like, it was cool.
Right.
What else? What happened after that? Bobby Tarantino 2. I'm probably not going in order, but Bobby Tarantino 2. It's alright. Young Sinatra 4. The first half of that album is literally skip, cool, skip, skip, cool. The back half of that album is straight cold. And then Confessions of a Dangerous Mind is just like, why? Because that album always frustrates me because the intro track, the title track of that album is one of the best songs that he's ever put out. The rest of that album is literally, what in the fuck are you doing?
Right. How
do you come with this cold of an intro just to fuck the rest of the execution of it? Like, dog, like, and then he redeemed himself with No Pressure. He redeemed himself. And then called himself retiring. But then came back and put out Bobby Tarantino 3, which to this day, I have not heard one song on that fucking mixtape.
It's not worth it.
Not one.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it even playing. It's not worth playing.
Now, after, taking a supposed break, he's
Final Days.
With a new album.
Final Days. I was just waiting for it to drop now at this point.
Now, you have told me that I should listen to some of the songs. I have not listened to none yet. Not because I don't like Logic, not because I don't think this album's going to be it's gonna be bad, or it's gonna be good, and nothing like that. But it's just like No Pressure was a moment because in my eyes, he literally dug himself out of the mediocrity and made a quality album. You remember No Pressure was on my albums of the year list.
Right.
He dug himself out of the mediocrity.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that happen again.
Oh, well, I mean, the Vinyl Days is good with DJ Premier, and it's also like he should have included DJ Premier earlier in between his verse. That's the only flaw I can really say. It's like it's not terrible. He got another song with Russ. They both killed it. It's a little bit of filler, but it's not. No song is like, well, no song after, I feel like after Bob and Tarantino 3, I could have gave up because No Pressure was a quality album, like you said. But me being a fan of like before I knew he was on the XXL Freshman, like I was a fan before then, and I started listening to all his other shit before his first debut album. So now when he's rapping for real and he has something to talk about, that's when I'm interested. See, now he's rapping over these he's probably gonna rap over some classics because he went and called his shit Vinyl Days. They're probably gonna it's gonna be really hip hop-ish. And I'm not afraid of that logic. That logic has that come back. Right. That's the one that I want to hear, and I don't ever want to stop hearing that one. So like what can you like at this point, if I think they all dropping on the same day, Joey Badass, Game, and Logic, I think they all dropping on the same day. And if Logic got the best album, I'm a Logic fan again. Like I feel like, because now, did you see that Game got 30 songs? We're gonna have 30 songs on his shit. Like, what the fuck for, bro?
We can talk about that, but let me go back a little bit before I start talking about that. I brought up Jay-Z and Logic to talk about consistency in rap for a reason, because these days, with the streaming being what it is, a lot of these rappers and a lot of these fuck singers, not fuck them, but we're not talking about them yet. A lot of these rappers put out all this music to keep themselves relevant. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times that should have backfired. Not because like a lot of people won't admit it, but a lot of the music that's out now is like it's funny because I find myself quoting the older folks who were commenting on the rap we used to listen to growing up, because that shit is really fucking repetitive. If the older generation thought that the rap we grew up listening to was repetitive, wait till they listen to this new shit. They gonna be like, what the hell? Like, he literally said the same thing in every song. Just different. And that's not to say that these niggas can't rap.
Right.
I can't say that. A lot of these motherfuckers can rap. But y'all subject matter is... That's it. That's really my biggest issue with the quote-unquote new generation of rap. Is that the subject matter, even though it's the same subject matter that niggas been talking about for years, a lot of y'all y'all can rhyme, y'all can make words rhyme, y'all can rap. When we talking about lyricists, a lot of you niggas ain't lyricists. Y'all niggas just can rap. You niggas ain't lyricists. Because these niggas that was rapping about this shit before, they was lyricists. They made that shit entertaining. You niggas just make that shit repetitive.
Right. Also, I'm very anxious to hear this damn Sci-Hi too. That's coming out. I'm very.
Tonight, right?
Yeah, it's coming out tonight. Yeah, man. I'm
anxious to see what he does free of the music machine.
Yeah.
But back to Game's album. Yes, I saw that it has 30 songs. No, I'm not surprised because you don't know this. I will run and get it right now, but I just don't feel like getting up. I bought his last album, Born to Rap, right? I bought it on CD. I have it. That album is... Hold on. I gotta see how long it is. Mind you, I told you this when it came out. That's a very good album. It's not better than the Documentary 2 or 2.5. It ain't better than Jesus Piece to me. But it's a good album. But that album is... Bear with me. That album is 25 songs and it's an hour and 30 minutes long. The physical version of that album is 2 CDs. So technically it's a double album. Which means that this new joint is probably going to be a double album. I, personally, because I enjoy Game as a rapper and as a lyricist, I'm kind of looking forward to hearing him spit for 30 tracks. However, because I'm such a fan of him, I know that these days I'm probably going to listen to every song, but I won't come back to every song.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't come back to every Game song since Documentary 2 and 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me being honest.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that these albums aren't great. It's just, I can't sit there and listen to every song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The last short Game album we got was 1992.
Yep. And that's a good album, too. That's underrated in his discography.
Very.
A lot of people don't talk about that.
Yep. Yeah. It's hard to be. It was hard and it's not so hard to be a Game fan. Like,
it's not hard. I kind of get where you're coming from. Because it's not that.
It's like, we saw how much, I feel like I saw how much of a fan of rap he is in that Drink Champs interview. Like, it's also like, it's just the biggest issue is he does so much shit that's corny that it takes away from his very, very great rapping ability. So, it's like, since he saw, so he didn't see no real money from that Born to Rap. So this is almost like, okay, you gave us another good album. Can you do another good album? And like, it's like he's doing all this shock value shit and up this on different people's podcasts and saying all this crazy shit. Like, it's like you don't really have to do that anymore.
At this point, no, he doesn't.
He don't. He just put out
because the Game. Not to cut you off, but the Game is not the type of rapper that needs to prove himself anymore. Because, like we were just saying, times have changed. Literally, the rap game is run by a bunch of young niggas who rap about the same shit over and fucking over again. The Game has reached, and when I say this, I don't mean in terms of accolades or critical acclaim or better albums or none of that. But the Game has reached a point in his career where he is now considered a vet. He is a vet.
Yeah.
He's like how Jay-Z and Nas are looked at by people like Drake, the Drakes, the J. Coles, the Kendrick Lamars, the Wiz Khalifas, the Big Seans, the people that have been doing, that ran the game back in like 2009, 2010, 2011. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how he's looked at, honestly, as an elder statesman in hip hop. Now he doesn't need to do all that. He don't need to get on the podcast and say, "Oh, nobody goes in the club and asks to, play that Eminem." Technically speaking, my nigga, nobody goes in the club and asks to play that game. Be honest, but that don't take away from your greatness.
Right.
So why are you trying to take away from Marshall Mathers' greatness by saying, "Hey, nobody goes in there in the car and says play that Eminem"? No, they don't. They don't. But then again, nobody says, "Hey, bro, you heard that new Game album?" Somebody somewhere is saying that, but the casual music listener that you're talking about doesn't say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The music listeners that you're talking about don't even put your music on.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas have fallen into a... Eminem, in my eyes, will forever be loved because he's white. Not saying that he's not a great rapper, but he will be forever loved because he's white. Even if he puts out something that ain't the best, white folks gonna eat that up.
Right.
So white people will be forever the reason that he stays relevant in the rap game. Because Eminem is one of those people. Eminem, low-key, is on the same level as Jay-Z and Nas in terms of legend, in terms of being a legend,
mm-hmm.
in terms of critical acclaim, in terms of respect. He's up there with those two. You know what I'm saying? And to have been in the game for over 25 years now, we have to give him that credit. We have to. So, like you said, there's no reason for Game to go and say things like that. Because he doesn't need to. Just say your piece, do what you usually do, which is say something controversial, which was the Eminem thing and whatever else he can think of, and then put your album out.
Right.
Let the music speak.
Yeah. At this point.
I done heard you talk. I heard you pop your shit on the ground.
And then he don't even have a single. Or was it easy?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think Easy was more of a statement from from Donda 2 than a Game single.
Okay. Well, I mean, at this point, like, he don't really need a single. He can just drop the album and I'll be fine. Do we see a Wayne feature?
Probably.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, I mean,
I see a low-key see a Dirk or Baby feature. I kind of think he's going to go that route.
Yeah.
He seems like the type.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, like, he, at this point, like, he don't got nothing else to prove. Like, at this point, like, just put the album, like, everybody has fake retired. I feel like every single rapper has fake retired and then put something out right after. Like, damn near right after, or at least Jay-Z waited 3 years. But like nobody else has did that yet. Like, ain't nobody wait longer than a year or two to say.
No rapper has ever said, "I'm retired." No rappers that ever enjoyed the amount of commercial success as some of these that we talk about has ever retired and said, "I'm done."
Right.
Like, I'm not doing this anymore. You know what I'm saying? Those who have made a lot of money off of that.
Mm-hmm. What I was gonna say, I forgot already. Well, I mean, at this point, I'm just ready for all the new music that is coming. June might be one of the biggest months because of like three rappers on all on one day is coming, and I'm like that's like the most I've gotten excited since Kendrick. So it's been 2-3 weeks since, damn near a month since Kendrick dropped, and I haven't really been all that excited for no other really big release.
Yeah, same. Because, like, with him in particular, that's a good starting point to talk about. What I wanted to talk about. When you talk about Kendrick dropping, mind you, like everybody knows, Kendrick didn't drop a solo album in 5 years and shit like that. We know. And because of the status that he's reached with, like, people like Kendrick, people were saying how, you know, you go on Twitter, you go on social media, and you search, and you see that a lot of people ain't feeling this album, right? Which happens. A lot of people wasn't feeling a lot of his albums. To Pimp a Butterfly especially. But it seems to me like the people who like Kendrick Lamar but don't like this album, or they don't like this album as much as other people, they tend to hold Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn. We're not even going. I could count Section 80, but a lot of people weren't listening to Kendrick then like they are now. Right. So I'm not going to count that. Mm-hmm. Even though that is his debut album, I'm not going to count that. A lot of people put Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn over To Pimp a Butterfly and this new one because of the commercial appeal, honestly.
Right.
The commercial appeal. Because even though Good Kid, Mad City the album sounds like, it doesn't sound like your traditional hip-hop album. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was really the first it wasn't the first album to tell a story, but it was the first album to tell a story in the way that it told the story.
Right.
And yeah, it had singles. It definitely had singles on there. The singles fit into the album like a glove. Swimming Pools, Backseat Freestyle, Don't Kill My Vibe. All those songs are singles. Mm-hmm. They sound like singles. But at the time that they were put out, Poetic Justice too. At the time that these songs were put out, minus Swimming Pools, didn't sound like singles.
Right.
Except Backseat Freestyle. Backseat Freestyle sounded like a single all the way. And then with Damn is probably Kendrick's most commercial album, if we're being honest. Like, if we think about it, it's his most commercial sounding album because of who he chose to work with. Because he had the usual suspects on there, and he had like the eclectic choices like Steve Lacy and Thundercat and shit like that. But then when you put somebody as high profile as Mike Will made it on your shit, right. Especially at that time, you know, you couldn't go nowhere without. I mean, I'm not saying that Mike Will is not as prolific as he once was, but
right.
I can say that was low key like between 2015 and between 2014 and 2018, Mike Will was at his height, like his peak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and could be gearing up to try and do another takeover because of
not saying that he's still not, but like you couldn't escape him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So to put somebody as high profile of a producer as him on your album, and not only put him on your album one time, but 3 times,
right?
You know, like I said, Damn is the one album that got like the biggest, like, yes, it won the Grammy for Best Rap Album. Yes, it was nominated for Album of the Year, but it won a Pulitzer Prize. That's what sets it. If you were to say Damn was his best album, that would be the claim that would set it above the rest, is that it won that award. That doesn't make it so, but that's a very strong claim.
Right.
Now, like I said, they put Good Kid and Damn above the other two because they're the commercial sounding albums. But, and I say this to say this, after careful consideration, I think that while Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is not a better album than To Pimp a Butterfly, to me, I think at this point I will go so far as to put it over Good Kid, Mad City. I think I would. And a lot of people are going to be pissed that I say that, because with Good Kid, Mad City, as good, as wonderful, and as amazing as that album is flawless. As amazing as that album is, me personally, as a music listener, it's very rare that rappers get personal. And when I say personal, I mean they get into things that they shouldn't necessarily have to get into. Because they're not obligated to get into that type of shit. But that's just their way of expressing themselves in such a way that it's almost like damn, like, this is what you chose to talk about? Like, damn, my nigga, like, we ain't asked you for this, but damn, like, we appreciate you because you did do what you did on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know, like, me personally, at this time in my life, I did not know that this was the album I needed from him until I heard it.
Right. Yeah.
Because, like, when I first heard it, I was like, I liked it a lot, but I was like, I don't really know how to feel about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The more that I sat with it, now almost a month into, you know, it being out, I'm like, yo, like, this is, in my opinion, right there under To Pimp a Butterfly for me.
Said the same shit.
For me, I'm like, yo, like, if I don't know, like, them two albums are fighting right now, neck and neck. They fighting. They fighting now.
Oh, shit.
Because of how open and how vulnerable and how, you know, how candid he got about topics that niggas don't talk about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
He's never been afraid to go there. A lot of rappers don't go there because it's not what rappers do. You know what I'm saying? But,
right. Mm-hmm.
You know, some rappers have done that. Jay-Z's done it. Nas has done it. Drake has done it a million times. J. Cole has done it. Like, but never in this explicit. Never this explicit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean like cussing. I mean like never this into detail. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, dog, I almost shed tears listening to Mother I Sober, nigga. Like, never having been through a situation like that and still feeling where he was coming from.
Right.
Never having been through a situation like that. Never had no male figure in my life try to touch me inappropriately and no shit like that. My mother was not sexually abused by no older family member or none of that shit. As far as I know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like you gotta hit those points at this time. Like it's so much what the fuck is cancel? Like, what the fuck is that, bro? Like, that shit don't last. Like, T-Pain said this in the Drink Champs interview. That shit don't last longer than 2 weeks. No longer than 2 weeks, bro. Like, it's all about the fact that it's still hate in the world, no matter what. There's love there. Love is there. But it's not like how you supposed to, you know, love. Like you supposed to love one another and shit. Like, but the hate is there. The hate is like in your face. It's always in your face. It's always. So that's why, like, my first thought was this: what you thinking right now, what you said, what you just said, and everything, because. Like, I grasp everything a little quicker now that I don't, because the first thing I'll be looking at is the beat. Like, that's how I used to analyze. But now, it's all about the bars for me. Like, when I used to, when I used to make music all the time, I analyze the beat before I listen to the lyrics. So I was taking it from a producer mindset at that time, but now I'm taking it from a listeners and a rapper's aspect. I'm listening to what the fuck is you about to tell me right now. That's all I'm listening for. And off the first play, that's exactly what you about to tell me. In each song and every song should hit different, and that's what Kendrick did. It should hit different in every type of way. So, that's why I was able to grasp it as quick. And you know, like I could recognize. Like I'm not gonna say it's a classic yet. I'm not gonna say that shit. It's not there yet. You should never say something is a classic too soon. Like, let it live, let it breathe. We only got one video so far.
Good Kid. That was a classic as soon as it came out. I'm sorry.
and like the way people receive projects now is different. Like we looking for the hit. We looking for to turn up. That's exactly what we looking for. And I can also say that's probably why Kendrick came out with N95 first. Because it's the most upbeat tempo and visually creative. So just like how
he also put the joint out with Kodak as a single as well.
That it was a video. It's a video right now.
Yeah, there's no video for that, but
okay.
I don't know. Like as far as I know, the next video that's slated to come out is "We Cry Together." I don't know if he's making a video for Silent Hill,
right?
But I know there's a video for "We Cry Together" that's coming,
right?
So,
yeah, it's all about. He's very calculated in his approach anyway, because like you said, commercial. One of the most commercial sounding albums was "Damn," and immediately the first song, a single, was "Humble." That was also visually very visually creative, also. So it's all about that. And I'm not sure trying to figure out. I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just trying to make everybody understand that. It's all about the turn up first. Like if you don't grasp off that first,
yes, of course, that's exactly what fucking that's exactly what everybody's looking for. Perfect example. I got you. Think about how you felt when you first heard Savage Mode 2.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you listen to the intro, right? And it's like, all right, he got Morgan Freeman on here, right? So that's already cool. But listen to the backtrack of the intro and then how it transitions into running.
Yeah.
And when the beat drops on running, the energy never stops. Even when it slows down with like rich nigga shit and things like that. Like the energy never stops. It just keeps going.
Right.
That's why people love Savage Mode 2 so much, because if you got a 21 in the Metro project, you want Metro to bring the hit and the hard hit and shit, right?
Right.
And then he surprises you with something like a rich nigga shit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because that song surprised me when I heard it the first time. I'll never forget. I was sitting at Home Depot when I was working at Home Depot. I was sitting at the little bench we used to sit at during break. And this was like I was playing it for the first time, because I had been playing it while I was at work. But I had been listening to running so much that I never got past whatever song is after that.
Right. Okay.
So when I finally listened to everything, I'm like, wait a minute. Where these violins come from? And these strings? Who did this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he never snapped this hard. Like, but that album is a perfect example of people, you know, getting what they want when it comes to the turn up. Like, there's no stopping. Same thing with Future's most recent album. Like, when it first came out, I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was okay. Do I think it's one of the greatest albums in the world? No. Do I think it's his best album? No. Do I think it's a decent album? Yeah. It's definitely grown on me. Because a lot of the songs I thought was are now to me.
Okay.
But like you said, like that's literally the market that we're in now. Everybody's looking for the turn up. Nobody's looking for lyrical rap is not dead, but it's not mainstream. It's not as popular as it once was anymore.
Right.
A lot of these rappers in the game that are popular and holding the reins of the game are not as lyrical as the ones who came before them. Mm-hmm. They're not. And it's just the truth. They can rap, but they're not as lyrical as the ones who came before them. And a lot of them know it. Look at what Dirk said when Kendrick dropped. He know. Dirk know. Your favorite, not you, but your favorite rapper knows that he's not. He's that nigga, but he's not that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know. Your favorite rappers know. So, but that just also shows to me because even though I have, even though Dirk is, even though I have my opinions about Dirk, I will say this: Dirk is a student of the game. He really is. Because when you look at his influences, he's a student of the game. He has no choice but to be because he grew up here. You know what I'm saying? Before we had all these artists that was coming out the woodwork every fucking week, what was we listening to? All the lyrical niggas.
Right.
50 Cent, Lil Wayne, T.I., who else? Cameron. Like, Hove, Nas. Like, niggas, we was listening to what was on TV, what was on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't no local artist for real putting on for the city until the rappers that was born in the 90s started rapping in the late 80s.
Right. Exactly.
So that's one thing I can say about him before running back into what we're talking about. So I'll let you say this. The hate for Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is unwarranted because just because that album is not what Damn was, it's not what Good Kid was, it's definitely not what To Pimp a Butterfly was.
Right.
It's not. If you could compare To Pimp a Butterfly to something, you can compare it to Mr. Morale in terms of not the style of the record, but almost the aesthetic of it.
Okay.
They are both in the same aesthetic. They're both completely sonically different albums, but the aesthetic is the same.
Right.
But you talking about an album that was meant to build up black people versus an album that was meant to show you where he is in his life. Literally. That's literally what that album is. It's where he is in his life. Or what's been going on with him the last 5 years that he's been gone. Because he even said on the song, like he said, I think it was Mother I So Big, he said, I had writer's block for 2 years. He couldn't come up with nothing. Which makes sense. And I think those 2 years were low-key, might have been 2019 and 2020. I think those were the 2 years that he couldn't write shit.
Right.
Because in 2019, even though he had like guest appearances sprinkled all over 2019, like he only had maybe 3 or 4 songs that he was on with people.
Right.
And that's when he like disappeared from the public eye. So I think those were the 2 years in question. Then the pandemic hit. And then, of course, he had a daughter. So it was like, he wasn't thinking about rap.
Right. Exactly. Also, after that, we had 2021. Cole drop. Oh, Cole the best dude. Oh, this nigga that took over. Yeah, he took over. Dreamville mixtape. Oh, yeah. He took
I mean, yes. Yes and no. I kind of agree with that. But I also don't because when it comes to, here we go again with another conversation about these 3 niggas. But when we talk about these 3 niggas, right? We talk about Drake and Cole, we talk about Kendrick. Like, there's actually a good article that Complex wrote about who ran the game when it came to the 3 of them during what year. It's very good. A lot of those times that I was reading, Drake or Kendrick ran everything. You know what I'm saying? Drake and Kendrick ran hip-hop more than Cole did in like a 10-year run. And it's like, the thing with Cole was always cold, right? Like, I say cold, not cold.
Right.
Cole was always that to me. It wasn't until it's kind of like Cold World was like a mixed bag for a lot of folks because a lot of those songs were either had been heard before or, they was like they had been put out before.
Yeah.
Like on other mixtapes or something like that. And honestly, if we're being honest, I know Hov was like pushing for Workout to be the single because he said he didn't have a single, but I think Hov was the one who really was like, you got to put something out. You know what I'm saying? So this is what he put out. Not saying that it's a bad album at all, but it wasn't what it should have been, just surrounding the hype.
Mm-hmm.
But J. Cole was always stuck in this like limbo because it was like he'll be stuck between two hot releases. He come in 2011, Kendrick dropped Section 80, Cole dropped Cold World, and Drake was already on his second album. So he overshadowed both of them niggas, right? Because Cole was still finding his footing as a mainstream artist, and Kendrick had just stepped out from, he was about to step out from the underground. In 2012, Drake took a break, but he didn't really take a break because he was on all the features. He was on his Lil Wayne shit. He was featured on everything.
Right.
While Cole was kind of stuck in like a purgatory. He wasn't stuck in purgatory, but he wasn't putting shit out.
Right.
And Kendrick put out Good Kid, Mad City, overshadowed both them niggas. 2013 comes, and Kendrick takes a break, and Cole comes out with Born Sinner. But Kendrick's claim to fame for 2013 is the fucking Control verse, because he got motherfuckers talking on one verse.
Right.
And Drake dropped Nothing Was the Same, which pretty much blew Cole out the water.
Right.
Then when both of them dudes took a backseat and had an off year, that's when Cole was able to step out in front with Forest Hills Drive.
Right.
And so when 2015 comes, what happened? Kendrick dropped, not even arguably, because I'm not arguing with niggas about this. I'm standing on it. Kendrick drops literally the album of the decade in To Pimp a Butterfly. But he's only overshadowed because even though it's the better album, he's only overshadowed by Drake because Drake had a better year than Kendrick when it comes to mainstream.
Right.
Because not only did he put out If You're Reading This Is Too Late, but the beef with Meek Mill put him in a higher bracket on top of the victory lap that was What a Time to Be Alive. It was Drake's year, period.
Right.
And Cole kind of was like, Cole was riding this 14 Forest Hills Drive. He was on tour. He enjoyed a very fruitful 2015. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he was once again blown out of the water by Kendrick and Drake. All that to say this. In 2021, when a nigga don't drop for years and the other nigga is pretty much just like on coast mode at this point, that was the perfect point for him to leap out in front again.
Right.
Which is what he did.
Right.
So nowadays, with people putting more respect on J. Cole's name, because even though, like I said, he's always been a great rapper, his stock has risen because he put out KOD, and that was successful. The tour was successful. He put out the Dreamville compilation album, which took not only the Dreamville camp to a higher level, but also raised his stock because he was willing to collaborate more.
Right.
Now you notice that he's literally looked at as one of the top niggas out right now. But why is that? Because why wasn't it like that when he wasn't collaborating with people? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We always knew it. They always knew it. But it wasn't until he started collaborating with folks that nigga was like, all right, yeah, that nigga got it. Yeah, he's one of those. Like, duh. Like, that's what niggas been trying to tell you. Now that he's being friendly with these niggas, now he's up there now. Right.
Man, I didn't like, I'm gonna also say this, like, I didn't realize it till his first album because I never even listened to none of the mixtapes. I've said this before on this podcast, but I just had to remind people. I was not a Cole fan until the first album. I haven't listened to any of the mixtapes. I literally thought Who That was hot garbage. And then the album came out. And then that's when I liked Cole a lot. So after that, what came out then, Born Sinner and so on and so forth. And all during that time, I was listening to his little EPs, Any Given Sunday, all that shit, the little songs he was just dropping. Your Truly Yours, the Truly Yours EPs and stuff like that. And like this dude, like I was just like, this dude is so fucking cold. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So I was a Cole fan, but I just was a late, sort of late Cole fan, I guess you could say, because I definitely wasn't on top. I definitely didn't see what the hype was about until the first album, because I think I was listening to a lot of, around that time I was listening to a lot of Big Sean, Wale, Wiz Khalifa. So those three had my ears for the longest.
Yes, I agree. Now, Cole for me was like, just to touch on that real quick, Cole for me was like this. I first heard of him in 2009 because, you know, Jay-Z had dropped the Blueprint 3 and Cole was on there. And after that, that's when I discovered the warm-up. Because, like, when you hear something, you're like, okay, like, I got to see what this nigga's about. So I didn't know about the come up until Friday Night Lights came out. So by the time the warm up came out, I was already growing as a fan. The thing that made me really like fuck with Cole was it was either Too Deep for the intro or Back to the Topic off Friday Night Lights. That tape in general, like I love the warm up, but Friday Night Lights is what made me a fan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, my introduction to Cole was the Blueprint 3. Because, you know, Hov had signed him, then put him on the album, and then that was it for me. Like, that was it. Like I said, I've been knew that he had the shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's when you kind of feel like you got an artist to yourself. And when I say that, it's like you realize how good they are. And when you see other people start to realize how good they are, it's like, yeah, now y'all seeing what I've been seeing. I've been telling you niggas for the longest. That's the same way I felt about Rick Ross back when he first came out. Because when Rick Ross came out in 2006, I remember saying how I fucked with his raps. And my cousin looked at me funky. He was like, you really fuck with his music? I'm like, yes. And then, what was it? 2 years later, this is the same man who was like, you really fuck with his music? I'm like, man, Ross that nigga. Oh. Now he that nigga now, huh? Like I've been telling you that since I was 12 years old. I'm in high school now, and now you realize. Mm-hmm. Like, and I will be the first person to say that Port of Miami is as weak as an album, because it is. But I knew then, I saw the potential. Like, yo, like he gonna be something like that, and I was right.
Right.
It's like sometimes you just know.
Right.
When you listen to certain rappers, and a lot of people don't mess with them. Like, you just know, like, all right, yeah, this is going to be one of them ones. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt about, I mean, everybody felt that way about Drake. Let's just get that out the way.
Right.
But I felt that way about Kendrick. I felt that way about Cole. I felt that way about Wiz. I felt that way about Joey Badass. I felt that way about A$AP Rocky. I felt that way about, name somebody else.
Wiz.
I said, did I say Wiz? No, I felt that way about Wiz too. So like a lot of you, like I said, you just know sometimes when nobody knows. Like a lot of people know about them, or they ain't mainstream. Even Big Crit, like I knew, like I knew. Like he might not be as mainstream as some of these other guys. Even Wale, like
sometimes I just got put on by some artists. Like Big Crit is one of those. Artists.
Yeah, I got put on the Crit. No, I didn't. Wait, did I? No, I didn't. I got put on him. After I already knew about him, because the first Big Crit song I ever heard was when he was on the first Big Crit verse I ever heard was on Glass House, and then Ryan had me listening to Crit Was Here. So, like I said, I already had heard him before, but I wasn't put on a project of his till Ryan was like, yeah, listen to this.
Okay. Yeah, I got put on the crit by my cousin, not Kuda Buggin, but another cousin that do the podcast who got me into podcasting. Bundoza. But I heard, the first thing I heard was country shit. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I heard the whole Crit Was Here mixtape. I was like, oh yeah. So
name off an artist, and I'm gonna ask you, like, when did you know? Like, what song or what moment did you know that he was like, he or that person was gonna be that motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, hold on.
For example,
hold on. All right.
I just want to let y'all know that the Warriors won the NBA Finals. I just want everybody to know that.
Yeah.
It's time. It's the redemption season. I'm telling you.
Yeah, buddy. I would not be shocked if Steph go ahead and get ring number 4, and he solidifies himself.
Conversation.
He go ahead and get his first Finals MVP. They definitely gonna put him in. Like, they're gonna start. Like, I can already think of what they're gonna talk about next. As soon as he get his 4th and he gets the Finals MVP, like, I already predict what these sports analysts are gonna talk about next. Is he in the top 10?
You've been in the top 10. I hate the fact that they say shit like that.
But they're gonna talk about that.
Bro, I've said this a million times. I'm gonna say it again. Steph Curry, Wardell Stephen Curry, has single-handedly changed the way that they play basketball in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Single-handedly. Of course, niggas been shooting 3-pointers. We know that. Look at Kobe Bryant, but look at fucking Reggie Miller. Like, you know what I'm saying? There have been dogs at the 3-point line, but Steph has made it so niggas is literally focusing on the 3-ball. Niggas who probably would have never been able to shoot threes in the 90s NBA or the 2000s NBA or the early 2010s. You're shooting threes now. Centers are shooting threes now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying. Warriors are winning. That's what I was saying, though. So you said that country shit was the song that made you realize that Crit was gonna be that name.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
what about Wiz?
Shit, well, the first project I ever listened was Kush and Orange Juice. Then I went backwards. And listened to all this other shit. But I think Mesmerized.
Okay.
Yeah, Mesmerized.
See, for me, it was the first Wiz song I ever heard was, I think it was Say Yeah. And I didn't like that song. But the song that I heard after that let me know that he was going to be that nigga. That was This Plane. Okay.
Yeah, and then
when I heard like, This Plane, I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, he going to be something special.
Yeah, it was another one. Like, it was a couple songs. I started listening to Wiz before like all his old shit, like so much of his old shit I was listening to. I kept listening to his old shit like right before.
Right. What's the tape that he came out with before Kush and Orange Juice? I think it was Burn After Rolling.
Yeah, I was listening to that a lot. Yeah.
There's a song on there called it's not The Thrill. It's When You Find. I heard that shit. I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
Like, nah, bro. Like, he's definitely gonna be something special.
It was a couple freestyles I was listening to, like before he was even like I think before he was talking about only smoking papers and shit. Like, yeah, bro. Like, it was like a lot of his shit was really like really good, and I was like, that shit is crazy. I used to listen to that shit over and over and over and over again and shit. Yeah.
I think I said my Cole joint already, and I think you did too.
I don't think it was a joint. I just remember it was the album, his first album. Because I never took a listen to Cole. I just heard Who Dat. I saw the video and heard Who Dat, and I did not like Cole at all. But once the album came out, that's when I actually listened. So it took for me the album to come out to actually listen to Cole.
Everybody had that moment they knew Drake was going to be something special. Now, for me personally, the moment came when So Far Gone had been out, and I had been heard it, and Successful was that shit. What else? Unstoppable, Uptown. What's the Ignis shit? Like, what he did on that alone should have, let you know. But the song that really told me that he was going to be I knew he was going to be, famous, like rap famous. But honestly, it was Every Girl. Like, when I heard his verse on Every Girl, even though it was so simple, I'm like, yo, yeah, he's gonna be like popular. Nothing could have prepared me for what would eventually happen, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that didn't happen until, I think, honestly, people's opinions of his music now, Drake was always destined to be a superstar, and I think it wasn't made no more apparent than Miss Me.
Right.
To me, like, for some people it was over, but for me it was Miss Me. Because it's like just the sheer energy of the track. And then Wayne kind of like prophesized, like, all right, I'm gone. I'm going to jail. When I come back, this nigga's going to be the number one rapper in the world. And guess what happened?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Right. Enough of that. It's something I wanted to do. I don't think I ever done this and talked about it at least. So Jay-Z put out his little playlist of everybody he's listening to, or what he's listening to right now. And yeah, man, it's pretty.
What was it? I didn't see it.
It's so I think it's like 22 tracks of a playlist. It's only on Tidal, but I'm pretty sure but you can like go and screenshot it and shit. So he got Babyface Ray on there, A1 since day one. He has Rich Spirit, Kendrick Lamar. He got Just So You Remember, Pusha T. He got Voodoo, Boa QG. I guess that's his name.
I gotta find the list. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. He got Kodak Black, 42 Doug, and ESTG.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
Wow, I guess I don't feel so bad about liking the song now. I get on here. The first thing that pops out is none of this. The first thing that pops out is 42 Doug and ESTG's Dump Shit. I like that song, and I don't feel bad for liking it no more.
Yeah.
Like if Hov like it, then we good. What else on here? Purple Stamp, What Happened to Virgil? Of course that's on here. Wait for You, 6 Mile Show. I'm not the biggest I Swear Vezo fan. His voice is kind of annoying.
Right.
Babyface Ray, he's cool. He's fine.
Yeah.
Why is I Wish on here? East Point Prayer, that's my shit. I haven't heard this True Love song because y'all know I don't fuck with Kanye.
It's good. It's good.
Puffin' on Zooties, that's a given. Water Under the Bridge, yeah, that one's good. That one's really good. Thinking Hours, that's cool. No Interviews, that's cool. Palm Trees in Memphis. Wow, more ESTG. I don't feel like I fuck with ESTG as a rapper, bro. But I like some of the songs on that tape of him and 42 Doug, and I've been feeling bad. Like that shit is so like I should not like this shit. And then he got Silent Hill on here. I like that. I like he got Silent Hill on here. That is one of them ones. Even though it's so like Kendrick's rapping is so rudimentary on that song, but it's on purpose. So
right. I knew that was literally for TikTok. I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, come on, Kendrick, why? Why did you have to do it?
It's a great song, though.
Yeah, like I still was like, why, Kendrick? No. He had to though. It was really good though. It was still really good. I was like, I can't believe this guy made a freaking TikTok song. But okay, I knew people was gonna instantly make a fucking TikTok to that shit. That shit was but yeah, like I like when Jay-Z do that shit. I like when he does that because it lets me know. I already knew he's listening. He's listening, and he's entertained by what we listen to also. But you'll just be surprised how far his ear goes. Like, you know, sometimes I'm surprised he didn't have any R&B on there at all. Like, so all rap. It was like all rap and shit. So who knows? Maybe he'll put an R&B one out. I don't know for sure though.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But every time Hov put out a playlist or something, it's like him and Barack Obama when they put out playlists, it'd be like, Obama's playlist be something else. I don't know if you paid attention to any of his playlists, but if you paid attention to any of them, you'd be like, damn, like you got one of the most eclectic music tastes I've ever seen. Because his playlist be having old shit on there,
new shit,
be having new shit on there, and some shit you wouldn't even expect. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Mm-hmm.
Damn, this Young Thug business is kind of depressing. Hold on, wait. We got an update. They showing the We Cry Together video at a small theater somewhere.
Oh wow!
I don't know where and I don't know when, but all I know is that the official title for the video is "We Cry Together," a short film.
Right. Yeah, I figured
it'd be a short film.
Yeah, I figured that shit. Cause you got a freaking actor in there. It's like, like duh, hello. There's an actor in there. Duh. Did you see the N.O.R.E tweets?
The N.O.R.E who?
The N.O.R.E tweets.
Which ones?
So he was talking about how these artists don't go, these big artists don't go to black platforms. They choose the white platforms over the black platforms.
What does that mean?
Basically, I guess, because Cardi, she like he was saying Cardi went to David Letterman or some shit. So why can't Cardi come to Drink Champs, $1 Million Worth of Game, or Joe Budden's podcast? Pretty much, that's the short version of what he said. Okay.
Yeah, they go to the white.
Yeah, pretty much. He pretty much go to everywhere where like Ellen DeGeneres and David Letterman, Jimmy Fallon, all them. You know, instead of going to $1 Million Worth of Game, Drink Champs, or Joe Budden's podcast.
I mean, technically speaking, they do go to them as well. I mean, who is he talking about exactly?
Yeah, I think he was just like, I think he was just saying that because he hasn't had somebody as big as Cardi B, but he has like, he had Kanye, he had Game on there recently, Tank on there. Tank had the best Drink Champs interview I've ever seen since fucking T-Pain. Like, T-Pain's was just as good as Tank's. Like, Tank's, I feel like Tank's was like it was a learning experience and it was funny at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like how you, and then he was.
I feel like a lot more. I feel like a lot more R&B male R&B artists should do, not Drink Champs per se, but I think a lot of male R&B artists should get on like a podcast or a platform and just talk. Because you know what I'm saying, like, we hear from these rappers all the time, but these singers are men too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
sometimes they be worse. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
Look at the allegations that Trey Songz keeps getting. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Tank actually said something really interesting about R. Kelly in his episode that I thought was interesting. He said that no matter what he's done in his personal life, or no matter what he's done to abuse women, there's no denying that he is the king of R&B. And I thought to myself, and I'm like as much people as will want to disagree with that because of what he's done and what he's been accused of doing and where he is now, he's not lying, honestly. And a lot of people might get mad, but he's not lying. Like, no matter what you say or do, you cannot deny the impact that R. Kelly has had on modern music. You know what I'm saying? You can't deny it. No matter what you try to do, it don't matter how much you try to sweep under the rug, it don't matter how much you try to pile on him. He's helped shape the sound of modern R&B. Like, people were influenced by this man. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's come out with some of the most creative, most, provocative R&B in the last decade, 2 decades. So it's like, he's been giving us music for over 30 years, but now, like Kendrick Lamar said, and we cry together, like, y'all know y'all still play his music. Y'all know y'all do.
Right.
And honestly, you shouldn't feel ashamed to do so, because just because you listen to somebody or you watch something with somebody in a way, are you supporting them? Technically, yes, because if R. Kelly's not getting paid through his music. We know this. So if you call it supporting, you only supporting him on a surface level because you still like his music.
Right.
Whereas it's like, I'll go and I'll watch like a bunch of movies that Harvey Weinstein produced. Does that mean that I support Harvey Weinstein and what he did and what he was doing? If I go watch The Cosby Show, does that mean I support Bill Cosby and what he was doing?
Nah.
I'm like, honestly, does that really mean that I support what he was doing and what he stood for? Or does that just mean that I find enjoyment in the stuff that he was doing?
Right.
Like on TV.
Right.
And on movies, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem with you people. Y'all look at that's why people were so disappointed about the Bill Cosby situation, because they look at Bill Cosby and they see Heathcliff Huxtable and they're like, Bill Cosby is like Heathcliff Huxtable. But it's not. Bill Cosby is Bill Cosby. Heathcliff Huxtable is a character. It's a difference.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, that is really interesting that Tank had said that, he picked that platform to say that at that moment.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Drink Champs is looking like when they pick their guests, they choose pretty good.
I'm just waiting on that Drake episode.
I don't think that shit is ever gonna fucking happen.
That would be hilarious.
But
Let them get him on there. That's gonna be their most high profile episode.
Yeah, that shit gonna do 1 million views in the first hour. First 30 seconds, 30 minutes.
Because it's like, what do you like? What? Because like, whenever Drake, Drake don't do interviews no more. But whenever he does, it's like, what is he gonna say? What are they gonna ask? It's not even what he's gonna say. What are they gonna ask him? What type of spot are you about to put him in?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I do have a lot more I could talk about, but I don't want to drag on too long. And we do have other co-hosts. I feel like we talked about any and everything.
Yeah.
And that, yeah. and another reason is why I can pretty much talk. Me. That's why I chose to put Mr. Silkyy Johnson on this damn podcast, is because I know he can talk for hours, and we cracked the hour in 35 minutes, sir. So, yeah. If you follow me on Twitter, DNA the only one on Twitter. _who is DNA. If you follow me, you'll see that I did tweet out that it's a possibility that we might have 2 episodes next week. I'm not. I said might. That's why I said might. Just be on the lookout. Just be on the lookout. That's all I can say. I'm in the works of 2 episodes. I'm trying my best to give y'all 2 episodes. We're going to just see if it happens. I will talk to John about that after we conclude this episode. Let
me take this opportunity to not necessarily plug myself, but say that I've been getting great responses and great feedback on my podcast. If you don't know, I dropped a solo podcast called the Relax Yourself Podcast. I don't have a set schedule for when I drop. Right now it's Sundays. That could change depending on what's going on, because, my schedule on the weekends is very floppy. So, I don't really get too many chances to record how I want. So, if it doesn't come out on Sunday, just bear with me. By Monday, at least by Mondays, it'll be out. So be on the lookout for the next episode coming Sunday or Monday. And I appreciate everybody for listening and the amazing feedback that I've gotten. And I'm going to try to keep going for y'all.
Yeah. Also, the link to his podcast will be in the description at the very bottom. Yeah, we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.